What's up, guys? Scott here from Chernobyl Studios. Today I'm going to show you a trick that I always use on my bass guitar, which helps my mixes sound bigger, larger than life, massive, brutal, redonkadonk, whatever adjective that you want to use here, okay? Just plop it in there, all right? Big, huge mix. What? There we go. Great. It's very simple. Now, I've just gone ahead and I've already processed the bass. I can do a video later on about processing bass. That's fine. I really wanted to talk about this particular trick that I use, and it's not my idea. I actually ripped it off from Adam from Hot Pole Studios, who ripped it off from somebody else, who probably ripped it off from somebody else. This is not an original idea. It's just how you use it. Okay. Now, the idea that I'm talking about is using a chorus plugin on your bass. Right. Now, I understand. Right. Tons of videos and tons of training resources online will say your bass needs to be mono. Don't mess with it. Blah, 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 blah. These are all true things. However, you can set up a chorus to work in your favor by manipulating its parameters so that the low end is more or less untouched, right? And you can gain extra width, okay, or perceived width from your bass guitar with a chorus plugin. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So we have this this little snippet here that I've been working on that I showed you guys, the EQ and the multiband compressor thing. Sounds cool. Again, nothing happening on the submix, nothing happening on the master. Just got the thing going in the OBS there. So it's already sounding pretty good, but we want to get that little extra bit of width that we can get here. Now let me show you how I do it now. How I do it now is I use Microshift. So we just turn it on. What we want to do is find the frequency where we're getting oomph, where we're getting that nice, oh yeah, this is nice and thick and juicy without messing up the low end, right? So what I will do is I'll put everything on wet, and it sounds like this. Big deal. And then I will adjust the focus knob. To where it sounds like things just lock in. Like we're getting the width, but we're not getting flubby, nonsensical things in the low end that don't make any sense, and we're not losing definition, right? If we come down here, it's flubby, nasty. About right here, once we're moving out of the low end range and getting more into the mids and upper mid frequencies, right? Well, I guess it's low mids here. This is 10K. I thought it was 20. My bad. 20s to 10K. We're getting about to the low mid section here. We're starting to get definition again in the low end while getting the width that we're talking about. See? So we're pushing the bass out to the sides a little bit without using like a stereo image or anything like that. Now, obviously, we don't want to have the mix knob completely on wet. That's nonsense. We're missing and we're losing the impact by pushing the bass all the way out to the sides. We don't want to do that. We do want to have it central to the mix to, pump the song along. So that's what we do with the mix knob here. We just pull this back until essentially we still have the width, but we have the majority of our bass down the middle, holding down the low end, keeping the song nice and thick. T-H-I-C-C, thick. All right. Right about there. And there we go. And the reason why I use Microshift is because it takes 7 seconds. I can put it in here, bam, bam, done. Just adjust according to the bass and the song and the music, and everything is great. Now, what does this do to the mix itself? So I'm going to turn this off, and then I'll enable it when the idea is playing. What I want you to focus on, okay, is what happens to the dynamic quality of the bass when I engage Microshift. What seemingly happens to all the moving parts, okay? So disabled, I will enable it as we play. Now, the effect is very subtle, which is exactly what we want. If we go too crazy with this, it's going to be too obvious and it's going to sound weird. Essentially, I'm adding just a small amount of width to the mix. Now, as we continue mixing here, and this goes through, the compressor, and it goes through an L1, and it goes through the clipper, my master limiter and stuff like that, this compounds, all right? So at this point right now, we have made the bass a little bit wider, okay? And it's adding to 3D dimensionality to the mix. These are all a bunch of buzzwords, I understand. But you can definitely hear the difference when the Microshift is not engaged. Somehow the mix goes from like this to this. It still sounds awesome, but you just can't unhear the difference of when Microshift is on. It's airy, right? You can hear the bass on the sides a little bit. This sounds bigger. Now watch when I turn this off. The mix will go like this. Off. Open up a little bit again. Okay, it's a very subtle thing, but you can sense it. You can sense like this seems smaller, seems more narrow. What's going on here? The Microshift is doing all of that. Now, if you don't have Microshift, you can use a chorus plugin. And let me show you how to do that right now with this Cubase stock chorus plugin, okay? Now, the only difference is going to be that you're going to have to keep in mind of a couple extra moving parts here. You're going to need to set the filters yourself. You're going to need to pay attention to the width and the mix knob and the rate. You don't want to have too high of a rate. You want to keep the rate pretty slow because you don't want it to, it's a chorus, right? You don't want to actually have this crazy chorus effect going on. You're trying to get extra width, okay? Creating imperfect, well, I mean, what's the whole point of a chorus pedal, right? It duplicates your signal, right? It modulates the signal however many different times, and you get a chorus effect. So you have the dry signal, and then it's modulated out 2 to 4 times, whatever and whatnot, and then you have a chorus effect. We don't want to get too crazy with the chorus effect, so we want to keep the rate and the speed of it relatively under control. Okay? Filters, you're going to need to set these yourself. You don't want to have the low end being affected, so I typically will go around 250 to 300. You want to leave the low end alone. High filter, typically I'll make this the same as whatever I did my high cut. So my high cut was 5K. So there it is. It's the same. Spatial, 100%. I want to make it wide, and I'm going to use the width and mix parameters to put it back under control. Now width is going to do exactly what you think it's going to do. It's going to spread things out. It's way over here now. So we'll pull this back in. 10%, I like 10%, okay? And then we want to use the mix knob. So obviously, that 100 is pretty silly. Not what we want. We want to regulate how much signal we're going to put into the original, I almost call it a DI file here, but into the original signal happening here, and then we'll modulate from there. I find typically with a chorus plugin, depends on the plugin, they're all different, but 20, 25, 30% on the mix knob are usually going to be pretty good. Now, if we open the Microshift, okay, and we compare the two, we should have really close, they should be really similar. So let's start with the chorus plugin, the stock plugin here. Very nearly identical. I think the chorus plugin here, I think we might have a little bit of extra low end stuff happening, so I might bring this up a little. Cool. We're modulating the more higher frequencies of the bass guitar to add this to the space and the depth to the mix. And I do this on every mix now. Every mix I do, I put a chorus or the Microshift on the bass guitar to help make it sound wider, and it works. If you don't believe me, I can open up my Eurobase thing here, and if you go up here to the snapshots, they've got an included preset called wide distortion, which is literally what I've just shown you what to do here with the chorus and the microshift. So it's a thing. This is how this is done. You just need to be careful with how much you're using on the bass guitar. The effect needs to be more felt, not so much heard, because if you can clearly hear what's going on, you've used too much of it, because we still need that bass down the middle to drive the low end and to make the mix thick, right? But by spreading the bass out a little tiny bit, we add the extra width and space to the song. So with the chorus stock plugin, the bass actually pops out a little bit more, so I might need to turn it down. There we go. And that's how you can make your mixes be even bigger and wider sounding. And this particular move is going to compound upon itself as you, for example, run it through a master chain, which will probably have a compressor or a clipper, definitely a limiter. So it'll compound, and then the mix will just sort of grow in size. And you've heard my mixes before. I'm a big fan of thick bass and huge sounding mixes, and this is one of the ways that I do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little trick. In the future, I will talk about more of processing the bass, like EQ and compression and stuff like that. But this was just a trick I wanted to show you guys that you can do right now to help automatically, immediately help your mixes start becoming bigger and wider and huge and thick and adjective, good to go. All right. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know. Leave a comment, and what would you like to see next? What kind of mixing tip could I help you out with? Let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.